Hi there, it's Warren here from Rust Sports, and we're at the KTM 2020 EXC launch. KTM have made a significant amount of changes right across their off-road range, and rather than run you through all the technical specs, which I'm sure are going to be available from a lot of videos that have been shot here today by the press, global press, I suppose the burning question is, are these bikes any better than the bikes from 2017 to 2019? And the answer to that is a resounding yes, right across the range. It seems like quite an amazing thing to say that right across the board, from the 150 to the 300 two-strokes, are the bikes better than the ones over the past few years? Absolutely, and the same is true for the four-strokes. Now, the 500 and 450, I fail to see an application for those bikes in Europe. If you're an Australian or America or South America, where you've got big open spaces, those bikes are just going to be unbelievable. 500 over the 450 for me, it's nice and smooth low down. The 450's got a shorter stroke, it makes the bike quite brutal, and in the tracks that we're riding today, and particularly in slick riding, really, if you're not an A-level clubman or above, I just wouldn't buy. It's not a bike that I would be considering buying. The pick of the day for me was the EXC 350. It was just a cracking bike, and the power is super tractable, really usable. It felt light, it was responsive, smooth linear power delivery, and as I said, my pick of the day. Now, I ride a 350 most of the time, and I've spent a year upgrading the bike, and this bike stock is just unbelievable. One of the biggest changes, the suspension is sublime. It's the best stock suspension that I've ridden at any launch of any bike so far over the last 4 or 5 years. Also, the bike's had nips and tucks. I feel like it's been to a good plastic surgeon, and the bike has been narrowed. The radiators have been dropped, the shrouds have been brought in, the tail end's been narrowed out a little bit, and I think the general improvements right across the range are certainly sublime. So in the terms of the two strokes, my choice was the 250 over the 300, and again, unless you are a clubman A or better, I think the 250 is going to be a much more generalist motorcycle, and it is wildly versatile, as is the 150. So, you know, on the two-stroke side, I'd be buying the 150 or 250 unless you're a clubman or better rider, and on the four strokes, I didn't like the 250. I think it's great for a novice or a sportsman or weekend rider, but as I said, I really couldn't find the power on the 250. I didn't find it very friendly. The 350 is the choice of the day. So I have got to say, the end to this video is that these bikes are so much better than last year's bike, and I think not only are they better than the previous KTMs, the market has got a long way to go to start catching these bikes. Okay, so the biggest surprise is the suspension on these bikes stock. I've always been critical of the suspension on these KTMs, but I can't be critical. Bikes this year are such a huge improvement over the last few years that I've had a cracking day riding all of them. 350 is the favourite of the day. I think KTM have really put on a fantastic track, lots of different terrain to test the bikes in, and I'm really super happy and very pleased to have been here.